How's everybody doing? Um, so basically today I want to do just a little story. Maybe encourage some people to write down in the comments a couple of stories that they went through or something, or if they want to share a story about when they got drunk or something, or when they just got fucked up, or a story. And I'm pretty much thinking, why don't I go ahead and talk about the first time I got my DUI, or when I got my first DUI. This was back in, I would say, maybe like 2014, 2015, something like that. And I remember it was a Friday night. Don't remember the day or anything, but basically I remember I was just at home, and I was just straight kicking it. I started drinking. They had told us that I was working at the warehouse at the time, and I remember they were just pretty much like, you fools are gonna be off on Saturday. Which I remember at the time we were working Saturdays, so the fact that they gave us that Saturday off was a good thing. I remember because it helped out, and it's gonna help out in the story and whatnot. But I remember that they pretty much gave us Saturday off, and so I was chilling at home drinking, and I remember I started playing cards with my dad, and we started playing con Kian, and little by little, that's when I started getting deeper into the game, and I was just starting to feel the beers, and I was already like, damn, I want to go gamble. I want to go to the casino. Like, shit, like, I should go play a tournament or something. And I just pretty much got amped up. I was like, fuck it, let's go. And I remember I was drinking some Stellas, and my dad was like, nah, like, why you gonna go? Like, you've been drinking already. Like, fuck that. Like, don't go. And I remember I had a little bit of bird. I had some bird, and and I always like to keep it in like that little pocket, like not your pocket in your pants, but the one on top of it. And I remember I had it stashed in there that day. And bird is basically Coke. But so I had some bird. I was drinking already, and I remember I was just like, all right, let's go. Like, I'll go catch a poker tournament. Like, this should be pretty smooth. This should be a good day, And so I go ahead to the casino, and I pretty much just I'm in the tournament for a while, and I'm playing for a couple of hours, and I remember, like, I pretty much just forgot that I had the bird in my pocket. I remember for a while I remembered, I went to the restroom, but then, like, I was just pretty much fucking gone. Playing the tournament, just high as fuck. And basically, I get knocked out of the tournament. I remember I had pocket jacks, and it was just fucked up. Like, I got out the tournament, and I remember that I don't remember if I kept playing. I don't think I did. I don't think I want to go play any cash games or something. I think basically I just got knocked out of the tournament, and that was about it. And then I probably just started walking around. I was drinking, obviously, still when I was at the casino. Like, I was just straight drinking, and I was drinking Stella's, and I remember I just got pumped up that day because just the fact of just playing some fucking conquian, playing a couple of card games. And I remember the song that just pumped me up was Eric Clapton's I Shot the Sheriff. I remember that song came on, and I don't know what told me, like, go play a tournament today. And yeah, I pretty much did, like, you know. I don't really know what I don't really know what like the legal terms are, I guess, because I mean all my DUIs behind me. But I mean I feel comfortable talking about it because I mean I paid everything off and everything was taken care of. But I'll be honest, like I don't know if I should or I shouldn't be talking about it on YouTube. But as of right now, you know, I feel like no one's listening to these videos, so I'll go ahead and just kind of explain it. But at the same time, like, you know, I do want to be authentic about everything that happened in my life and just kind of show my experiences with, you know, getting barras, you know, being gacho. So basically, I remember I had pocket jacks. I got knocked out of the tournament, and I pretty much got on my car, and I remember my tire had popped while I was on the way back home from the freeway. I remember I was on the way back home, and my tire had popped, and I pulled over. Like, now that I think about it, like, I do remember when I was on the freeway, I was like, damn, maybe I should just drive off the freeway and go into the streets, like, fuck. But honestly, I was just so out of it at that point. Like, there was beer bottles all over the car. Like, the front right of my fucking car was all fucked up. Like, it was just a bad night. Long story short, well, I always say that, and the stories are always long, but going on with the night, it couldn't have been too much longer than, you know, because I got off and I saw I had a flat tire, and I remember the cops just pulled up on me. And they were pretty much like, hey, what's up? What's going on? And I was like, hey, what's up, fellas? Like, nothing much. Like, damn, my tire popped while I was on the freeway. Fuck. And they were like, well, we just got a report right now that somebody just hit I forgot if he said a rail or like some type of gate or something. But he was pretty much like, well, we just got a report right now that somebody hit the side of the freeway or like a ramp or something. And I was like, look, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, that wasn't me. Like, straight up, like, I didn't hit anything. My tire it popped on the freeway. You know, I was able to keep control of the car, and I pulled over, and that's all I said. And basically they were pretty much like, all right, cool, because I do remember some of what we were talking about. Like, I wasn't blacked out or anything, but I knew I was basically done. Like, bro, like, I probably smelled like alcohol. The car, like I said, had a shitload of fucking beer bottles. And long story short, you know, damn, I keep saying that. I gotta stop saying that. We keep going. They pretty much were, you know, they asked a good old question, like, have you been drinking tonight? And I was like, you know, honestly, I have. I drank a couple of beers at the casino, but I'm just on my way home, and unfortunately this happened. Just try to keep it straight, and they pretty much were not having that. And I was just pretty much caught red-handed. Like, I remember they did the test on me and everything, and I was just stumbling. Like, it was just ridiculous, like, on my end. It's cool. It's one of those learning experiences. But at the same time, like, I felt like that's kind of the way that I could have gone down, because I was going to the casino drunk and drinking and driving all the time. And that's, other than work and gigging, that's basically where my time was going to, all my spare time. So it did kind of have to be in that way, in some kind of sense, I would say, because I probably wouldn't have stopped going. So I don't remember exactly if they breathalyzed me. I think they did, but I'm not 100% sure. But I remember I had blew like 3 times over or something like that, and they pretty much put me behind the cop car, and I guess they thought I was talking to them pretty cool, so they just kind of started chit-chatting with me on the way to the station. They were pretty much like, what were you up to tonight? And I just kind of told them, like, I went to the casino, I was playing some poker, I went into a tournament. And we just kind of started chomping it up about poker and stuff. And honestly, I just remember, like, getting to the jail. They put me, like, in a jail with, like, a bunch of other guys and a bunch of other, people. And one dude was just like, what are you in for? I was just like, drinking and driving. He's like, damn, me too. He's like, damn, and they found crystal on me, and I think they said that they drew his blood and they had found crystal on him. Little did I forget, I had that coke sack, that perico sack in my pocket, in the little pocket. I guess while they searched, they never checked in there. And I pretty much, I remember they just put us in that jail, like in a bunch of bunk beds or something, if I remember correctly. There was an open restroom, and I was somewhere in downtown LA, and basically I woke up the next morning, and I remember I had that sack, and I looked, and I was like, I do have it. That's crazy. And I think I just put it back in my pocket. The food that they gave us, I think I just gave it to one of the homeboys that was right there next to me. I was like, you want this shit? And then I just waited till they let me call home. I remember I called home, and I just told them, like, damn, I'm in jail, can somebody come pick me up and whatnot. And yeah, that's basically what had happened. And that shit was pretty fucked up. Like, I would say as an alcoholic, that's just something that's gonna happen, right? Because at that time I was drinking every day, all the time, like, so it's gonna sound crazy, but you kind of look at it like as a badge of honor or something. Like, you start kind of thinking, well, I'm an alcoholic anyways. Like, alcoholics have a DUI, right? And I think that was just kind of a way for me to say, like, oh, it's cool, bro. But honestly, it was just a bunch of fucking waste of time and a waste of money. I had to go to, like, driving classes or some type of alcoholics classes and stuff like that you paid up front. I ended up paying up front. I had the extra money at the time. Then you get the actual DUI ticket at court and everything. And then I had a bunch of AA classes. I don't remember exactly how many, but I had a bunch of AA classes. I had to put the breathalyzer in my car. That was something else too. Like, I think I had to have it on for like almost 9 months. I think it was 9 months. And basically, it's just a bunch of waste of time and a bunch of waste of money and stuff. You know, it was it was alright, I guess. Like, not getting it, obviously not, but I got it at a pretty young age. I must have been like 22 or no, hell no. I must have been like 23 or something like that. Maybe around 23. And, for a long time, like, I stopped driving. I had to put the breathalyzer so I wasn't trying to drive as much. But it was pretty fucked up, like, because sometimes you would still want to drink, so, you would blow on the fucking breathalyzer and it was detecting that you were drinking, and and it wouldn't let you turn on the car. You would have to have, somebody blow for you. And the worst part is that sometimes when you're driving, it'll do a random beep, so you have to blow in it again. I remember after a while, I had gone back to the casino with the breathalyzer. And I remember one day I just went to the casino and started fucking drinking again. Like, I was like, man, you know what? Fuck it. I don't give a fuck. I started drinking. I held off a couple of hours. I went in the car. That shit blew red. And so that shit didn't let me drive. I went back into the casino. I started fucking drinking a shitload of water. Started doing a bunch of random gambling. Just going to, like, the poker tables and putting in, like, without even seeing my hand. Just going all in and shit like that. And kind of like letting the time pass by and stuff. But yeah, then like, just having all those things, like, then you have to go to classes, then you have to, like, it takes up a lot of time because those classes on certain days, and then you have to go on other days to the AA classes. So now, like, your time is just, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be scheduled for a while, because damn. But like, at the time you're young, and that's just part of life for somebody in that path right there. And to be honest, I'm grateful I had the money at the time. I didn't really struggle for anything. The AA classes were walking distance from my house. If I was really suffering, like, I could take the bus up to those fucking extra classes I had to do. So it wasn't completely bad, but I don't remember exactly how much it was. But yeah, it probably was around, like, over like $7,000 just in total for everything. Like, over 7,000. I don't know exactly what the count was, nor do I care. But I'm just grateful that I never got caught again, and I'm blessed because there was a lot of times that I should have got caught. Like, just fucking driving like that after a while, like, my shit got so fucked up that I didn't even have a license. I didn't have money to get new plates and get new registration and all that shit. Like, that shit was crazy. And I'm just so grateful that I never got pulled over, because in those times, like, all I really had was work, and I was driving to work. That shit's just like, damn. And I don't condone it or anything, but the way I would look at it is just like, there are so many people here, like, all it really is, like, I just have to try to avoid the cops at all costs. Like, I feel like, yeah, I run into cops a lot when I'm driving, But for a lot of my life, like, I feel like they never really, like, appeared next to me until I started thinking about them being next to me, and sure enough, cops would show up. So for all that time, and I was just pretty much like high out of my fucking mind and drunk, you know. And to me, I would just say, like, there's just so many people around, just blend in, and you know, everything should be cool. I had a nice little low-key Honda, like a 2007 Honda. It was mad low-key, so, you know, didn't stand out or anything, and I was like that for a long time, and man, that shit would have sucked, because if I remember correctly, if you get pulled over in California for a second DUI, I think that's a year in jail automatically. So I was not ready to do that. Like, damn. And just for something like drinking and driving, like, fuck. You know? Because one thing is, I never even liked driving. You know? I would only drive because I had to go to work. Like, I feel like if I could have one thing in the world, it would just be a driver. Like, somebody that just at any time could drive me anywhere at any time I wanted to go somewhere. Like, that's what I would want. That'd be smooth. But you know, just that whole experience of drinking and driving was just fucking, it was just another experience, you know, that I've been through, and just kind of another story that I wanted to share, like, you know, and that's kind of what I want this channel to be about, just coming in, sharing stories, and, you know what, to be honest, like, I'm gonna learn about I have to learn, I guess, about the legal rights, and what I can and what I can't talk about on YouTube, or what I shouldn't. But I just want to hear, like, stories too, like, you know, shit that people have done, like, or shit that's going on with people straight up. You know, you call in, and you know, I was inspired by Goblin, you know, like, Goblin just has like, the Goblin podcast, like, but I want to do it with, like, you know, Latinos and Hispanics as well, like, that way, you know, like, because I know gigging around East LA, and gigging around South Central, and gigging with the paisas, like, I know that shit's just gonna be a whole different ballgame. Because I'll tell you one thing, like, I've never been to an Alcoholics Anonymous in English, but I've been to one in Spanish, and that shit is crazy. Those fools are not shy to talk. So I can only imagine what people would, like, be sharing in the comments, and sharing just stories that they've had, and that's kind of what I want, you know. And then apart from that, just people that work in warehousing, you know, just what some people are going through right now at the warehouse that they're at, because shit, I know people that work at warehouses. I know they got some good stories too, you know. I know you got a lot of people that love to party, a lot of people that like to chill, you know, like to fuck around. And that's what I want. I just want people to come in, share, and just open up a little and talk. And, you know, if we can, we'll just keep all this shit anonymous, and everybody just come and have a good time, and chill out a little bit, and you know, that'd be pretty smooth right there. You know, like I say, another story that's been on my mind that I'll tell you know what quick right now is actually another story that has to do with shit like that, with, like, drinking and driving. So it's 2018, and the World Cup is going on, and my brother is pretty much like, yo, like, what's good? Like, the homie invited me to, I think it was Wingstop. He's like, the homie invited me to Wingstop. He's like, you want to roll? And I was just like, nah, fool, I'm straight. Like, handle, do your thing, And then he was just like, let's go, fool. Like, fuck it, let's go chill. And then, I try to play it off like, dang, I gotta work tomorrow, just on some bullshit. Like I'm saying, like at the time I was mad tweaking and I was mad drinking. He was drinking too, though. So that's all good. But, he was just pretty much like, yo, like for reals, like let's go, like fuck. So I remember, I've always been that kind of person, like what if, I had a sack on me, and I remember the bag, the actual sack, I went ahead and I hid it somewhere at home, and then I had a dollar bill on me that had crushed up ice. And I remember at the end of the night, I was just kind of like, damn, like, fuck, maybe I should go with this fool, just to chill out with this fool for a little bit. And I remember, the World Cup was going on at that time. And I was like, damn, maybe we could watch the game or something, watch some highlights or see if anybody's playing. So I was like, fuck it, I'll go with you. Like, let's go. And fucking... He's like, alright, fuck it. I'll be down at this time. Go whoop-de-woo, showered up, everything's straight. Just pulling out the car, and I open the gate. And then I start thinking to myself, damn, like, you got the sack. You got the dollar bill on you with some crystal, like, and then my mind started thinking quick, like, damn, what if you get pulled over and something happens? And so I remember right before I had taken, like, a couple of lines or whatever of it, and I just decided to put it into a hiding spot. Like, in Cali, it don't really rain like that, and they don't really get, like, wet throughout the night until, like, the midnight or whatever. So I just stuck it somewhere right there in the gate, around the bushes, like in a place I could find it. Just for that reason. Just in case we got pulled over or something happened, like, in case we got pulled over, like, I just didn't want the fucking cops to be like, oh, you fools got some shit on you, and then my brother be like, what, like, you have this shit on you? Like, fuck. Like, okay, so we end up going to Wingstop, where they're chilling, watching fucking soccer highlights. And one thing I vaguely remember is Egypt playing, so that's pretty smooth. And I remember me and my brother just started, like, fucking talking shit to each other. Like, I forgot for what fucking reason, to be honest, but we're at fucking Wingstop just talking shit to each other. I walk out with the fucking beer mug and fucking smash it on the ground, and then I'm like, man, fuck you, dude. Like, I'll just fucking go home on my own. Then he's like, get in the car, stop fucking playing, and blah, 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 and whoop-de-woo. And long story short, I ended up getting in the car. I mean, we're making our way back home. And next to where we live, there's like a Dunkin' Donut, I believe, if I remember correctly. And this fool wanted to stop for a fucking dozen of donuts. So fucking, we stop for a fucking dozen of donuts, and fucking, we have it in the fucking back seat. This fool pulls over. We get up, and this fool's eating one. And so what happens next is we drive around the block, and we pull up to this intersection, and we stop at a red light. And like, all I can really say about this channel is you gotta believe everything that's going on. Like, I'm trying to explain as much detail as I can, and this is literally no script. Like, I'm talking off the top of my head because this did happen. But we pull up to an intersection, and there's a red light. While we're at that red light, I guess both me and my brother pass out. We both knocked the fuck out. I was pretty much just tired, I guess. And this fool was pretty much tired or something. We were both just fucking drunk. But the only thing I remember is waking up to tapping on the window car. And then the cops were just pretty much like, "What's up?" And then we're like, "Damn," we're like, "What's up, officer?" And these fools are pretty much just like, "Yeah, we need both you fools to step up out the car right now." Because we were both asleep. We were just waiting for that fucking red light to pass, I guess, and we both knocked the fuck out. We're outside. One cop takes my brother, and one cop takes me. And my brother's, I don't want to say a lot older than me, but my brother's older than me by probably like 5 or 7 years, but 5 to 7 years, but he's questioning my brother over there. I'm questioning this fool, and this was pretty much just like, "What's up? Like, what's going on?" I'm like, "Damn, my bad. Like, I had a long day at work, and we just want to go catch a couple of fucking soccer games at Wingstop, and like, guess we both just kind of passed out, This was pretty much searching me, and then that's when I start thinking, about fucking, if I would have had that fucking crystal on me, like, that shit's crazy, like, because he would have found it, because I always just kind of kept it in that little pocket that I told you fools that I kept the coke in. I always just kept it in those pockets, and, but long story short, I knew those fools knew we were drunk, and they knew we were drunk too, and these fools are like, "All right, we need your IDs." We give them the ID, and fucking, he's like, "You fools still live at this address?" And then we're like, "Yeah." He's like, "Hurry up, get in the car, and go home. We're gonna be right behind you guys. We're gonna make sure you get there safe." Bro, we pulled up. We just went into the pad, because it wasn't that far, and fucking, I remember I just called off work the next day. That shit was fucking crazy. Like, that was just another time I got saved. I remember I went to go get that sack that I had stashed, and then pretty much went to sleep. The next morning, called into work. Like, that shit's crazy, But I guess those cops were just looking out, straight up, like, cops right there in LA, man. Los Angeles, California. That was some good looking out. I got a lot of love for those fools hooking us up with that, because they knew we were drinking. That's all we were fucking doing. And both passed out in the fucking car, like, bro, call the fucking tow truck right now for some food, Pretty sure there's some fools that went through the same shit as us, and they got fucking ended up with the DUI. Like, I really appreciated it. Because that whole situation would have been fucked. My brother already had a DUI. I had my DUI a couple years before that, so like around 2014. That was around 2018. That was 2018 in the World Cup, so, I don't know what they would have done to me, but long story short, I know they probably said, you shouldn't have been drinking and driving like that, motherfucker. Like, what are you thinking? But that's crazy, like, that shit is crazy, 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 like, You know, and I just hope this is able to show you guys that, you know, I want to open up too and tell a couple of funny stories and tell some stories that, you know, because, you know, there's just some good times that comes with all this. And, you know, if you guys want to go ahead and share, just do so, you know. And, you know, like I said, well, like a quick update, I know yesterday's video I said that I was going to work a bunch of overtime, so I didn't know when I was going to post, but my boss didn't end up fucking hitting me up. I told him that we were down, then he just never hit me up. So that's pretty fucked up. So I was like, you know what, then I'm going to post up another video and just keep this going, you know. I'm going to keep it going, and, you know, everybody be safe, and I'll talk to you guys later.